welcome to Hour of Devastation, a weekly Magic the Gathering podcast. I'm your host, Joe Loudon, and with me as always is Sam Neal.
Hello.
So Sam, let's get into it. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad, thank you. How's your weekend been?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. Did a Pauper tournament yesterday and really enjoyed that. It was nice and fun. The first time I've actually played Paper Pauper before, so that was fun. Yeah. I came third, which I'm fairly happy with, and I guess I'll talk a bit more about that later.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that, I've just been jamming a lot of Legacy Cube, Cubes online, that's where you'll find me.
It seems like every couple of hours you'll just send me what you've drafted in the Legacy Queue.
Yeah, I'm pretty much just back to back in them. I haven't gone 3-0 yet, but everyone's been 2-1.
Sweet.
Maybe we'll get there. We've got another couple more days.
Yeah, I mean, I still haven't drafted it even once because I just haven't had time.
You need to do that.
I feel like I'm missing out. I really feel like I'm missing out. We've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we do. So I thought this week we could give a bit more of an introduction to ourselves, which I realised after recording last week's episode we didn't really do. Kind of just talked about some things, some hot topics of the moment. So I think, now obviously we know a lot about the game. Let's sort of introduce our listeners, if there are any. Apparently a couple of people enjoyed it, which is cool. We're going to introduce ourselves properly this week, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start then. Sam, how did you first get into Magic the Gathering?
So, when I was younger, I used to play, I used to own Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Which I think everyone who was born in the 90s did at some point.
Absolutely.
And then I sort of stopped doing that because I got into video games and stuff like that. And then it was in my second year of uni, so that was 2013.
Yeah.
I was walking through Waterstones in Bath, and I saw that they had a section of trading cards, and I saw Magic and was like, I used to really like collecting cards and just, having cards, going through them, sorting them and stuff like that. Maybe I should get into something else.
Yeah.
Maybe I should get back to it because I really enjoyed it with Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon cards.
Yeah, sure.
So sort of on a whim, I bought an M14 deck builders toolkit.
Nice, yeah.
So that was the first thing of Magic I ever bought. It was like £15, I think.
Yeah, this is all sounding very familiar. I pretty much had exactly the same purchase, my first purchase there.
Yeah, man, I was just like, this looks really cool, I'm going to go buy this. And one of my housemates at the time had played Magic, during Kamigawa or something.
Yeah.
And we played a lot of board games, so he said, if you get into Magic, we can play some games. I thought, sweet. So I sat in my bedroom opening this, I can't remember do you remember what boosters were in an M14 deck builders toolkit?
Not precisely. I know I definitely got there was a core set booster in there. There was a Return to Ravnica booster in there. Mm-hmm. I think it might have been just Gatecrash and Dragon's Maze as well.
Okay, that would make sense.
Yeah.
So I sat in my bedroom, I opened it all up. I honestly do not remember what I opened. I think I probably got a Sengia Vampire, which I thought was really cool.
Nice. Yeah, I remember getting very excited about Shaven Dragon.
Oh, dude. So sweet. So I opened that and then literally spent 2-3 hours just reading through the little rules pamphlet that came with it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work it all out. I was watching some videos on YouTube, watching videos on how to sort out your cards when you just start playing Magic.
Yeah.
When I build a deck. And I think I put together a green deck.
Yeah.
With big creatures, and then I put a black-blue wall deck together.
Okay.
Because I thought that was really, really fun.
Yeah.
So I played that. I just jammed loads of games with my housemate at the time, who had just loads of old cards. So it was standard legal cards at the time.
Yeah.
Versus Kamigawa cards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because it was just an extension of playing board games, which was really, really fun. I started wanting to go to F&M. My first F&M, I played Bob Brewwitch, Bubbling Cauldron, Festering Newt.
Oh, nice. That good old combo.
It was sweet. It turns out it's terrible. I thought I'd cracked it, oh man, why is no one playing with his cards together?
Yeah.
And then I got stomped by actual good cards.
Sphinx's Rev and all that stuff.
Actual Magic cards.
Yeah.
I started going to F&M pretty regularly. In Bath, it's held in the Waterstones.
Cool.
And I don't know if they still do it, but they used to put it into new newbies and people that knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
So I was in the new pod, and then eventually I just kept playing. There was at the time quite a good Magic scene in Bath, and I just got sucked into it because everyone I was playing with was good at what they were doing. I very quickly got very involved in EDH.
Okay.
Because at the time, like, a student budget, I couldn't really afford.
Yeah, sure. It's
the standard.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, obviously, it's a lot easier and cheaper to buy one copy of a card than it is like 4.
Yeah, absolutely. So I built a Trostani Selesnya's Voice.
Nice.
EDH,
yeah.
and I think that sort of stuck with me because Selesnya is still my favourite colour combination.
Okay, cool.
Because it is the best.
Debatable.
Selesnya for Evnia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I played loads and loads of EDH. We meet up on a Sunday, playing the cafe at Waterstones in Bath, where loads of normal people were walking around wondering what the hell we were doing. And then I got into Modern. I just thought, I want to play some proper, like, competitive Magic. I want to play one-on-one and win some things and, play less fun Magic. Just fun. I want to get into it properly because that's just what I wanted to do.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's a really fun game at a sort of, like, face value level. Like, I fully believe that it is, it's the greatest game ever created, like, hands down. It has so many different sort of enjoyable elements about it. It's, it's great fun just as, like, that face value, brand new player level. But once you really start to get into it, you can see all of the different components, and it really, I think, really changes your sort of worldview, I guess, really. Like, I found myself, as far as like critical thinking and decision making and analysis goes, I think Magic the Gathering has quite a lot to answer for that.
Definitely, like, it's something that kind of kept me intellectually stimulated.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I used to play a lot of video games, but I never really cared that much.
Yeah.
Like, I never really bothered to keep up with the latest games and stuff. Like, I played them, but I wasn't that bothered. Whereas Magic was something that, I don't know, it just sort of stuck its claws in.
Yeah, for sure.
And it just, I just kept playing, and I wanted to get more competitive, so I built Modern Merfolk. Okay. And spent a lot of money at the time. Well, it was a lot of money for me at the time on Ether Vials.
Yeah, sure.
Played that deck. It was really, really bad at that time, because this was like pre-Birthing Pod ban.
Okay, yeah.
Just pre-Khans of Tarkir, so just before Treasure Cruise and Digley Tom and all that nonsense. So built that, and then I got bored with that and started playing Elves.
Yeah.
Because I like green. And now I can't remember the last time I went to a constructed tournament where I didn't register green cards in my deck.
Yeah, sure.
And then I moved back to Birmingham, which is where I'm from and where I currently live.
Yeah.
And I try and play as much Magic as I possibly can.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of people who do take the game very seriously and how players will try to play as much as possible. I know I don't have a lot of time to sort of attend every event I would like to at the moment, but I definitely try to jam a game, even if it's just like Goldfish in my legacy deck. Like,
absolutely. Like, I try because I unfortunately I work 6 days a week.
Yeah.
So I don't have a lot of I can't normally get to GPs. I normally end up just going on the Sunday because I work on Saturdays.
Yeah.
But I just try and play as much Magic as I can. I try and grind some standard leagues on Magic Online.
Yeah.
And I'm just voraciously consuming content the entire time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Podcasts all the time, reading articles all the time, just because I love the game.
Yeah, sure.
But that's a very, very brief history of my Magic playing. I mean, I haven't played that long.
Yeah.
I think people, because I played Legacy for a bit, I have like 4 EDH decks, most of which are nearly all foiled.
Yeah.
I have 3 modern decks. I have some expensive people who expect me to play for I've played for a long time.
Yeah, I think I find sort of myself in a bit of a similar situation as well. So pretty much exactly the same. My history of Magic goes. I think it starts quite a bit earlier than yours. So the very first thing I ever got was one Christmas one year. Well, I guess it was Christmas 1999. It must have been. I got the Magic the Gathering starter gift box. That came with a videotape. Showed you how to play the game with just like the weirdest video, like instructional video ever. Like it was the most 90s thing you'll ever see. If I can find it on like YouTube or somewhere, I'll stick it up in a link on the comments of this blog.
They're always so bad. I don't know if they just can't find good actors to do it, but they're always so poor.
Poor is the word, I think. So yeah, it came with instructional video, and then you got in a separate box you got a big box labeled "Start a Game," and that came with 2 decks, Player A and Player B. Mm-hmm. You got some glass tokens, like little glass beads as well, because I'm fairly certain that it was either in the rule book or something that we'd sort of just made up ourselves. Those little tokens that. What you did when you tapped mana, you didn't move the card at all. You put a token onto the card,
Oh, really?
So rather than physically tapping the card, we used to put a little glass token on the card to say, oh, we've used this mana.
That it was tapped?
That it was tapped, yeah. It was, yeah.
That's really strange.
It is really strange. I don't remember whether it was something that was mentioned in the rules anywhere, or maybe it was in the weird instructional video, or, you know, I was like 8 or 9 or something, like, you know, kids do kids things.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, that was the very first thing I got. Like, it was great, I had lots of fun, and then Pokemon happened.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, who wanted to play Magic anymore? Like, hey, Pokemon. Everybody had Pokemon.
Yeah.
I think I might have played about 4 games of Pokemon. Like 4 games of the actual TCG.
I think that's more than I actually played.
Yeah, like.
Despite owning hundreds of cards.
Yeah, exactly. Like we'd buy packs and we'd trade them, and yeah, but nobody actually played the game.
No.
Which I think was just something that even back then sort of quite frustrated me, because I really enjoyed playing games, and I always wanted to play the game, but kind of nobody ever did. So
yeah.
It was Pokemon for a while, and then Yu-Gi-Oh! Was the big thing after that, so I jumped into that and played that for a bit. Never really did any sort of like competitive level play, never played in any stores or anything. It was, you know, kids, like, you'd have your deck in your bag, you'd go out on your bike, you'd go for a ride somewhere, you'd play a game, you know, just kids being kids, doing fun things with cards.
Yeah, I remember doing that a lot.
So I think I'd play Yu-Gi-Oh! For a couple of years. I think it was around when like the 6 Samurai cards came out. That's when I stopped playing.
I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, I did vague memories of like building a deck where you had like, there was these 6 samurai and you could get one of each samurai and they all did different things. And I thought, hey, that's really cool. Let's do something with that. And yeah, I can't even remember what that was. So it kind of shows you how invested I am in Yu-Gi-Oh! Now. And then after that, like, that was it as far as like my card games were concerned. Like, we were all sort of like, you know, weren't really kids anymore. We were all 17, 18, and I think Magic was something that I was still very aware of, because you do see it, you know, you see it pop up in media. It's in films, it's in TV shows, even if it's just like a poster in the background of someone's bedroom, or, you know. I was a big fan of the OC when I was a teen, and obviously Seth Cohen dropping those Magic the Gathering references everywhere. So
okay, maybe I should get back into the OC if it references Magic.
Dude, like, yeah, the OC, like the first 2 seasons of the OC, like, I'm a complete sucker for those.
Oh man, it's like my partner Ali, like, really loves the OC.
Yeah.
And she keeps getting me to try and watch it, and I just refuse, because I've watched a few episodes and I just think it's bad, but I might give it a go. Maybe your recommendations are
like, it's absolutely horrendous, but like, okay. I'd say it's probably responsible for me still being aware of Magic the Gathering in my teens. And also me finding the band the Get Up Kids, so, you know.
Sweet, okay, it's a very important show then.
Yeah, probably. Very strange. So yeah, I didn't play games for sort of quite a while, but it was something that was there, and as the years went on, you know, I thought about it more, and, you know, I was hey, like, I really want to try this and get into it. We a few of us played D&D at the time, and we were playing other tabletop games and having a lot of fun doing that, but nobody that I was playing with really sort of cared about Magic, or they had played previously and, you know, they weren't interested anymore. And so I guess nothing happened for a few years, and then I went to visit a couple of friends who live in Toronto, and they're all like massively into it. And while I was over there, they pretty much you're going to play Magic, we're going to teach you, let's take you to a store, get you some cards. So I think it was the Hairy Tarantula in Toronto. I'm not sure if the store's still there, but shout out Hairy T if you are. It's where I made my first purchase, which was again the 2014 Deck Builders Toolkit.
Sweet.
Yeah, I remember opening that and going through that, and just, like, Shaven Dragon was the one. Like, completely blew my mind. Like, it's a big red creature, and you can pump it and make it bigger. Like, this is great. Like, absolutely fantastic.
See, because you always hear people talking about, you know, when Magic first came out, like during Alpha and Beta.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Shaven Dragon being like the best card.
Yeah, totally. Like, Shaven Dragon. But yeah, I was
by 2014 when we're opening these cards, surely Shaven Dragon shouldn't be impressive in those situations.
Yeah, I mean, when they've printed like Emrakul the Aeon's Torn and you know, like Griselbrand. But no, Shaven Dragon. That was amazing. And then looking through the rest of the kit, you know, it was like, Lightning Strike, this is cool. Shock, okay, I'm a red mage, like that's definitely gonna be my thing. and obviously Return to Ravnica was in standard at the time, and I think it's sort of heralded by most people who've played the game for quite a long time that was the last sort of really good era of standard that we had.
So what else would have been Ravnica at the time?
So I think Innistrad block was still legal when I just was first getting into it. So it was. Okay. I think that had rotated out when Theros was released, like not long after that.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody who I was playing with and learning to play with, they all had these sweet like multicolored decks, and I was learning about the Guild of Ravnica and thought, okay, this is really cool. Instantly identified as a member of the Rakdos Guild, definitely. Like,
oh man.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Rakdos Cackler, like a 1-mana 1/1, but actually it's a 1-mana 2/2. Like, yeah, like I'm paying 1 mana. Yeah, like great. Rakdos Shred Freak as well. That was featured heavily in my deck, and then soon figured out, oh, you can stick like Madcap Skills on a Cackler and swing for like 5 on turn 2. Like.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Again, I was like, it was sweet. Like, I've broken magic. Like, I'm gonna kill you on turn 3. Like, yeah, awesome. Yeah, after that, and I was living in Brighton at the time, so I went to an F&M there. It wasn't at a store. It was in it was like a library or like council building or something, in like a small sort of conference room there.
Okay.
I can't remember how I found out about the event. I can't even really remember where it was. I think I must have found it on like a Facebook page or something, and like I didn't have a clue. Like I didn't know what Wizard Event Reporter was, what Wizard Event Locator was. Didn't really know that people played Magic in stores, like despite there being adverts for FNMs and cards and going and purchasing cards at a store. So yeah, I managed to find this group that did FNMs and went down to my very first one of this deck that I thought was completely untouchable, completely unbeatable. So obviously this was, I say, not long after Theros had been out, I think. Like Innistrad definitely was no longer in standard at that point, which I very quickly found out. So sit down for round 1 and I'm casting like lightning bolts, I'm casting Hell Riders, I'm doing all sorts of silly things because I didn't know formats were a thing. I didn't really know where to go to sort of learn the information, like learn about formats, learn about events, what cards, didn't really know anything, to be honest. So yeah, I rock up and half of my deck is either cards that I've just rotated out of standard or cards that haven't been legal for a very long time. Such as all of my basic lands. So I'm playing half of my basic lands are mountains, the other half are swamps, except they are snow-covered mountains and snow-covered swamps.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No, you can't. I didn't realise that at the time, and I also sort of didn't understand why I couldn't do that at the time, because they said basic lands on them, and it was all very confusing, but the judge... I have no idea who the judge was now, but yeah, the judge sort of explained about legality of cards and formats, and sort of showed me the error of my ways, I guess, and swiftly replaced most of my deck with cheap standard legal commons. But I did go. I went 1-2 at that event because I managed to steal 2 games using Rakdos Charm against somebody playing Selesnya tokens.
Was that before or after you took the lightning bolt to have your deck?
This was after. This was, yeah, somehow. I think it was like the 3rd round. Like.
Okay.
And then from there, I guess I moved back up to Newcastle sort of I'd say a few months after that, and I had a couple of friends who had started playing again back here and went down to Travelling Man, sort of our local store there, and played an event there, and then about 2 months later, I ended up getting a job at Travelling Man. I did my first pre-release, which was Khans of Tarkir, and I mean, that was it really. Like, that's when it really took hold, and I haven't stopped since.
Sweet.
So yeah, I think definitely haven't been playing as long as a lot of people. I suppose most Magic players I know have been playing the game for quite a lot longer than myself.
Yeah,
but I think
because
I consume so much content, and I do play a lot of formats now, and it is something that I'm heavily invested in with both my time and money. That newer players especially think, oh yeah, you must have been playing for years, but nope, I'm just an addict, I think.
Just absolutely obsessed.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, so shall we do our cracker pack for this week? I believe you've got one.
Yeah, I have. I have a Rebels Mixland pack.
Oh, cool. So that is definitely something a bit more recent than Hour of Devastation.
Yeah, I had some people last week say, why did you do Hour of Devastation? That's not a relevant draft set. I was like, that's what the podcast's called.
Yeah, it's relevant in some way. Plus, it was a really good draft set as well. Like, you know, I'm quite vocal about not being a particular fan of Ixalan and even Rivals of Ixalan limited format, but Hour of Devastation was great.
Yeah, I won this booster on Friday at FNM.
Oh, congratulations!
Thanks. I went 2-2. And I got an Hour of Devastation pack because I thought that's relevant, and I opened that immediately.
Was it a Masterpiece Scar of God?
No. Do you know what the card Imminent Doom does?
Imminent Doom. That is.
Yeah,
no, that is not a card I'm familiar with.
Yeah, that's the rare I opened, so I just sort of left the pack there. But I'm going to open this one now, and it's going to redeem everything, because everything's going to be sweet in this pack.
Cool.
So,
Imminent Doom is that red card that I always think is Hour of Devastation.
Yeah, it's like two and a red.
Yeah.
You put a Doom counter on it, and then something happens. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anybody cast it.
It's got a sweet picture of Bolus on it.
Yeah, it does. That's why I keep thinking it's Hour of Devastation. Like,
that makes sense.
Yeah, like I remember opening one. I opened one in my pre-release deck and got dead excited, and then read the card.
This is actually bad, isn't it?
Yeah, that wasn't great.
Sweet. So I'm not sure if my mic's good enough to pick up the sound of this crack, but I can go for it. Did any of that come through?
Maybe, yeah. Yeah. Even if it's quiet, I'll just crank it up in post.
Sweet. Cool. So first card is Recover.
Recover. And what does Recover do?
2 and a black for a sorcery. Return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. Draw a card.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably playable, but I'm never gonna first pick it.
I actually think this card is. Yeah, I'm not first picking it.
Yeah.
But it is really, really good. Well, not really, really good, but I often, if I'm in black, have one in my deck.
Yeah.
Because it's really good if you have a bomb. If you have like a Ravenous Chupacabra.
Yeah, sure.
Just getting that back and draw the card.
Yeah, that is a pretty good bomb to have as well, that Ravenous Chupacabra.
Yeah, hopefully that's in this pack.
Yeah.
Next one, Araska Throwback. 3 mana 4.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Again, like, I'm not going to first pick it.
Nope, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I've played it. I've definitely played it.
Yeah.
Stampeding Horncrest is the next one.
Cool, and what does that do?
4 and a red for a 4/4. It has haste as long as you control another dinosaur.
Okay.
I don't think this is particularly playable. 5 mana 4/4 isn't good enough, and you're rarely building dedicated dinosaur decks in this format.
Yeah, like, if you get it on the wheel in pack 2 after you've got some dinosaurs, then yeah, maybe. Sure. But yeah, never first pick it.
Yeah, I'm not happy with that. Next one is Deadeye Righauler, which is slightly more interesting.
Okay, and what does that do?
3 and a blue for a human pirate.
Yeah.
It's 3/2. Then it has Raid. When it enters the battlefield, if you attack with a creature this turn, you may return target creature to its owner's hand.
Okay, that's definitely more interesting.
Yeah, so there's some sweet template plays you can do with this card. I quite like it if you're in sort of an aggressive deck.
Yeah.
And you just set your opponent back.
Yeah, out of what we've got so far, I think it's the pick. Be happy playing it in a Pirates deck, definitely. I wouldn't be thrilled about first picking it, but it's the best of the bunch so far.
I'd play it.
Yeah, I do quite like the flavour text on it as well.
Up you go, you soggy rat.
And there's a picture of a pirate who's hoisting up...
hauling someone up a rig?
Yeah, hauling somebody up a rig, I think. It's great.
Okay. That's blown out the water. The next card's Luminous Bonds.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Slamming it. 2 and a white for an enchantment or enchanted creature. Enchanted creature can't attack or block.
Yeah, absolutely fine first pick. I'd first pick it.
Great removal spell.
Yeah.
Fine. Good, sweet, that's the pick so far.
Yep.
Dusk Charger. 3 and a black for a 3/3.
Yep.
It has Ascend, which is if you control 10 or more permanents, you get the City's Blessing for the rest of the game, and it gets +2/+2 if you have the City's Blessing, so it becomes a 5/5.
Okay.
I first thought this card was terrible.
Yeah, I think I did as well. Like, Ascend was a mechanic that didn't sit right with me at first. Like, I couldn't, to be honest, initially I really couldn't get my head around it. It was like, so a lot of the things we've seen as far as new mechanics go in Standard, like, they're always like activated abilities or triggered abilities, and yeah, initially I couldn't, it just didn't feel right. The whole Ascend just happens, like.
Yeah, you get rewarded for just playing the game, right?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
But this card, I think, it's not great, but it's okay. I'm obviously not first picking it, but I've played the card. It's fine as a 1 or 2 of. If you just need to finish it like a 4 mana 5/5 in the late game, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, maybe. Again, it's still the Luminous Bonds over that though.
Absolutely. Next card is Araska Relic.
Okay.
3 generic for an artifact with Ascend. Tap it to add a colourless, tap it and sacrifice it, and gain 3 life and draw a card. Activate it only if you have the City's Blessing.
Yeah, I'm not first picking that ever.
No.
Like, might play it as a one-of in a sealed deck maybe, but
sure, mate. Yeah, because it's slow.
Yeah, it's not as good as Luminous Bonds.
No, nowhere near. And neither is Brazen Freebooter.
Ah, and what does that do?
3 and a red for a human pirate.
Yeah.
When it enters the battlefield, create a colourless treasure artifact token with tap it, sacrifice it, add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool, and it's 3/3.
Cool.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's, again, like, I don't think it's anywhere near as good as Luminous Bonds, but I think the treasure tokens are pretty good.
Yeah, sure. Like, I love the Sailor Memes deck.
Yeah, Sailor of Memes is definitely a thing. Like, that card is great.
I force that deck all the time.
Yeah, like, that PPTQ that I talked about in the podcast last week, I ended up getting absolutely destroyed in the top 4 of that by a blue-black control deck that was running 4 copies of Sailor of Memes.
Excellent. I've played 5 before.
Nice.
Like if there's a Sailor Memes in this pack, I'm slamming it, even if the rare's amazing.
Nice. But yeah, that was constructed as well. Constructed deck running 4. Yeah.
Oh my god, I thought that was limited.
No, constructed.
Okay, I'm less into it in constructed, but sure.
But yeah, I mean, sure, the Scarab God helped a lot, but
okay, yeah, that's a good card.
Genuinely, like, Sailor of Memes Beatdown is what got the win.
Hit him with those 1/4s.
Yeah, sure.
Right, next card. Evolving Wilds.
Yeah, it's fine. Like,
sure.
I'd be happy to play it, but I'm very happy to play it, but I'm never gonna pick it first ever.
Absolutely not. But it's fine. Like, hopefully it wheels and you get some fixing.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, we did it.
Yeah.
We did it. Sailor Memes.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, it's fun,
yeah. Yeah, you think it's better than Luminous Bonds?
No, absolutely not. But I'm taking it because I'm terrible at draft. I just love this card.
Yeah, I mean, the deck is real, and I think sometimes, like, if you can just force them, then, like, yeah, sure, you can make it a thing.
Yeah, so this card is actually called Sailor of Means.
Yes.
With an M. It's 2 and a blue for a human pirate. When it enters the battlefield, create a treasure token, and it's a 1/4.
Yeah.
Yeah, this deck is really cool, because you just take loads of these, you ascend really quickly, so your ascend cards are good, like the Dust Charger.
Yeah.
And then it blocks for days, because 1/4s are pretty good in this format.
That's it. It just sounds sort of pretty underwhelming when you read the card out, but it gets some work done, like it really does.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm taking that.
You're taking that over Luminous Bonds?
Yeah, I am, but the pick is most certainly Luminous Bonds.
Yeah, I think I'm still on the Luminous Bonds.
Cool, so uncommons. We have Sea Red.
Yep.
1 and a red for an enchantment aura. Enchanted creature has +2/+1 and first strike. At the beginning of your end step, if you didn't attack with a creature this turn, sacrifice Sea Red.
Cool. No.
No?
No, I don't think so.
No, I think
it's playable, but
yeah,
I wouldn't want to first pick that.
No, if I'm in an aggressive red deck, I like it, but yeah, I'm not first picking it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wouldn't first pick it myself, and I can't see a lot of people taking that very highly in pack 1 as well.
No, absolutely not.
So it's almost guaranteed a wheel, right?
Yeah, I would thought so.
Yeah, so if you do find yourself in a red deck early, then yeah, sure, it's probably going to come back.
I mean, then again, this pack isn't particularly stacked so far.
No.
So it might not come back, but we never know.
Yeah, true.
So, next one, I forgot this card existed. Mausoleum Harpy.
Mausoleum Harpy, now what does that do?
And 4 and a black for a Harpy. It has flying and ascend.
Yeah.
And whenever another creature you control dies, if you have the City's Blessing, put a 1/1 counter on it. So 3/3.
Okay. Yeah, I think I forgot that card existed as well. Seems fine. Like,
okay.
Again, I tend to overcommit to removal quite a bit in limited, so sure. I'm still taking the Luminous Bonds. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
But it doesn't seem like a bad card, really. Like,
it's got some sweet art.
Yeah, like Ascend's fairly easy to get to.
Yeah, especially if you're playing the Sailor Memes deck, like I definitely am.
Yeah. So would you pick Sailor Memes over Mausoleum Harpy?
Yes, that's not even a question.
Yeah, sure.
Ooh, next one's interesting.
Yeah. Did we get there? Oh, we didn't get there. It's not the Chupacabra.
It's not the Chupacabra, but this card's pretty good.
Yeah, Neckbreaker. I like Neckbreaker. Do you want to read out what that does?
Yeah, 2, a black and a red for an Orc Pirate.
Yeah.
3/2, attacking pirate you control, get +2/+0.
Yeah. The card is decent. Like, it's definitely playable. I'm really happy that it's an Orc. Like, I feel like I don't think we've actually had orcs in Magic the whole time we've been playing. Like Zergo.
No, I think that's actually true.
Yeah, I think Zergo might be the only orc that I've seen in Magic.
Oh yeah, he's an orc berserker.
I think so. Yeah. I think one of them is an orc berserker, and I'm not sure what the Bellringer is.
Bad?
No, he's so much better than the original one. Like Zergo Bellstriker was so much better than the Mardi one.
Sure, I mean the other one was 5 mana for a 7/2.
Yeah, but Zergo Bellstriker, like
1 mana 2/2 are good. Sure.
Yeah, like 1 mana 2/2, and you can dash him out as well. So he's a 2 mana 2/2 with haste essentially, which is like absolutely fantastic if you've got Temur Battle Rage and Become Immense in your hand as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a thing.
Yeah, that's actually true.
Yeah, but
so
Zergo.
Break him.
Yeah, it's not Zergo Bellstriker. I'll give it that, but
correct.
It's certainly playable, and like Pirate seems to be a deck.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've seen a deck that has 4 of these in it.
Yeah,
that's really scary.
That seems. Yeah, 4 of them seems like ridiculous.
If 2 in play, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, give all of your pirates +4/+0. Like, I mean, at that point, you are just attacking. Like, you're the beatdown deck there. Like, yeah. I still think my pick is Luminous Bonds because
I'm not taking a gold card first. I don't think
that's it. I think that's what sets it aside to me. Like, the card doesn't win the game.
Yep.
So I wouldn't first pick it. Like, it would have to say, play this card, you win the game essentially. For me to first pick a gold card, or would have to be a format where I know the fixing's going to be consistently there, or it's a very good bomb. But
yeah, absolutely.
I'll pass this along, and maybe someone will get it three picks down, and then I'll probably lose them in the final.
Sure, and just lose to that exact card.
Yeah, probably.
Right, on to the rare.
Hey, here we go.
It's blue. I'm not sure that's a good thing.
It's always a good thing.
Oh man, nah.
No, what we got?
Release to the Wind.
Okay.
2 and a blue for an instant. Exile target non-land permanent. For as long as that card remains exiled, its owner may cast it without paying its mana cost.
I mean, there may as well not just be a rare in this pack.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. I'm never playing that card, ever.
No, even in a constructed format, like, sure, maybe as a one-of in a commander deck or something, if you want to, like,
sure.
blink a commander. No.
We say this, but maybe some pro, like a few months down the line, will break this card and we'll all feel really silly.
Yeah, probably. Give it 6 weeks' time and I'll what the deck will just be like 4 copies of this, and then, I don't know, like Scarab Gods for days or something.
Cool, so the pick Sailor of memes. Let's move on.
I don't know, like Luminous Bonds. I'm going with Luminous Bonds, but I can see why you would pick Sailor of Memes, like.
Yeah, because I'm bad at draft. It's exactly that reason.
Don't draft badly, you just draft differently.
Yeah, let's go with that. That still makes me sound respectable.
Yeah, sure. So that's the Cracker Pack for this week.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a card of the week this week?
A card of the week, I do.
Okay, what's your card of the week?
So I do want to put, I'm not sure if anyone cares, but I do want to put a small spoiler warning on it.
Yeah, we probably should. I feel like everybody, or at least the vast majority of people, will know by now. Maybe not necessarily about the cards specifically that we're going to mention, but that a vast majority of the Dominaria set has been released. There was a bit of an error or an accidental leak. Not sure exactly what caused it, but was it the Chinese Wizards of the Coast team?
Yeah, so I think
accidentally uploaded the set release notes for Dominaria early, or the page went live early.
Yeah, so I think what happened was it was meant to be the release notes for Masters 25.
Yeah,
so
that would make sense. Yeah.
Upload the release notes is the Chinese website. Someone, I don't know how this happens, but someone clicked a wrong button or something.
Yeah.
Put up the Dominaria release notes instead.
Yeah, I guess it's the next set that's being released after Masters 25, so it could have literally just been they've clicked on the file below the one they were supposed to click on. It's kind of a shame it happened, but I guess it can happen because it did happen.
Well, I think Wizards handled it well.
Yeah,
because it happened. People were sharing it all over the place. It was all over Reddit and Twitter.
Yeah,
and people were like translating stuff, and we sort of they were poorly translated by Google Translate for the most part. But we got a real idea of what was happening. But then I think, what was it, 3 hours later?
Yeah, about that.
It just gave us all the the release notes in every language.
Yeah, which I think that was the absolute best way to handle it, to be honest.
Yeah, there's no way you can get around it. You just have to say, we've made a mistake, or someone's made a mistake. Here's it, because you're going to find out anyway.
Yeah, for sure. I think like when it's happened in the past, so stuff like when the image file for Kozilek was leaked.
Mm-hmm.
They just didn't say anything about it.
Yeah, and then had to do a whole, because that was the first card released, seen with the colourless mana symbol.
Colourless mana symbol, yeah, definitely.
And they were going to do like a whole big reveal because it's a brand new thing. It's really exciting. And then they just like sort of ignored it as if everyone in the world hadn't seen it.
Yeah, definitely. Which I don't think was the best way to go about it. But I think this time was right. I think they did exactly the right thing. Here's the information which a lot of you have seen. Here it is, proper translations. So we know the information's out there. We can't stop that. But at least you're going to get correct information now.
Absolutely.
And I do like that they did hint at and mention sort of a couple of interesting things that they have as well, sort of to go along with that. So we haven't got any of the images of the cards yet, which are always something that's very important to me. Like I really do care about the art of the cards, how the cards look. So although I might know most cards that are in the set, I'm so excited to see the art. So that is something that does play a big part of it for me.
Yeah, because I mean, we're not going to go into. I think each of our card of the week is a card from Dominaria.
Yeah, sure.
But we're not going to go into like the whole thing and spoil the whole thing because I mean, I feel like other people will do that.
Yeah, definitely.
The information's readily available. If you want to go and look at everything, it's not the entire set. We've still got some surprises to come.
Yeah,
but if
you
want to look at it, you can find it. It's easy to find. I don't think it's a place to really talk about it because some people might not want to look at the spoilers. Some people, because I certainly get really excited.
Yeah, I do too. I think I might sort of do spoiler episodes in the future when we do have like a proper spoiler season and there are. We can have like a proper whole week's worth of cards to talk about, and then the next week we can talk about cards that were spoiled that week, and that kind of thing. But we haven't seen the cards yet as far as like the card images go, and there are still a lot of cards in the set that we don't know about. So I saw an interesting discussion earlier about the Kanzataka set notes. They don't mention the fetch lands. They don't mention Siege Rhino. They don't mention Jeskai Ascendancy or something as well. Like there's, so there could still be some big surprises in the set that we just don't know about. So I'm quite excited to see the full set once it's released properly.
Because I mean, I think the thing with this is it's like, because I sort of treat spoiler season kind of like Christmas, right? Because you get to see all these sweet new cards, you get to look at something every day and find out all these really, really cool things.
Yeah, for sure.
With this leak, it's kind of like you found the receipt for your Christmas present.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it, actually. So
you can't see it in full because we haven't got the arts and the flavor text, which I agree with you. Like they're really, really important to me.
Yeah.
But sort of what it is. Some of the cards. What's going on.
Yeah, that's it. Like I can't play with my PlayStation, but I've seen how much it costs.
I know. Yeah, I know what's coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with all that out of the way, I guess I better move on to my card of the week.
Yep. Which again, is, spoiler warning, it is in Dominaria.
It is in Dominaria, and it is Llanowar Elves.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm very excited about this.
So cool, especially because we had, I can't remember where it was said, but apparently 1 mana accelerants are too good for standard.
Yeah, I think it might have been on Blogatog, which is Mark Rosewater's Tumblr blog page. I think if you look at the way standard has gone over the past couple of years, then there's sort of quite the precedent set there that they wanted to move away from 1 mana, like mana dorks as they are called, like Llanowar Elves, Elvish Mystic, Birds of Paradise, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
because they do sort of tend to. I don't know if dominate the format is the right word, but they are certainly like when those cards are legal in a format, you go, well, I'm going to build a green deck. I'm going to start by going 4 copies of Llanowar Elves.
Yep, I'm very excited to do that because I mean that's what I do in Modern.
Yeah, for sure.
Just love green decks, so I'm going to build a new Modern deck. 4 copies of Noble Hierarch.
Yeah.
What next? That's why I'm so excited about Llanowar Elves because I mean so the last time we saw a card like this, it's Elvish Mystic, which is essentially the same thing.
Yeah, sure.
But they couldn't do it because Llanowar is a place on Dominaria.
Yeah. So I guess they could reprint it in a core set technically, but
yeah, like original Llanowar, which is sort of the original 1 mana elf.
Yeah.
I'm just very excited about it because I think this is the point at which I decided green was great because I mean the first one I played with was Elvish Mystic.
Yeah.
Just this card is busted. This card's unbelievable. Like I play 3 drops on turn 2, I play 4 drops on turn 3. Like it's just
exactly. Like I never played green ever. Like I guess I technically did when I played Otarka Red. Like I loved that deck, but you weren't really playing a lot of green.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got memories of early standard just being like turn 1 Llanowar Elves, turn 2 you play like Sylvan Caryatid, and then turn 3 you just play it's like something massive like Genesis Hydra for like 6 or something ridiculous. Like
like it leads to some ridiculous. I mean, I'm not sure if it's because obviously we don't know what standard's going to be like with the release of Dominaria.
Yeah, like we don't know exactly, but you do. At least we know now that we have sort of the ground brace of like, hey, I can play a green deck. I'm going to shove 4 Llanowar Elves in there, and then I'm also going to shove 4 copies of Carnage Tyrant in there because that's pretty good.
Because that's the best card in standard.
It's not Scarab God, but it's.
It's also just not the best card in standard, but I mean it's a massive green creature, so it's my kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I do think that it will see a lot of play.
Mm-hmm.
It might be not seeing the sort of play that it deserves currently. Like it's a 6 mana 7/6. Like I can absolutely see sticking it inside boards against control matchups because it can't be countered. It has hexproof. Like great. But once you've got those mana accelerants, like there's no reason why you can't just jam it in your main board. That you can play it like. Consistently, you can play very early sort of Bristle and Hydras as well. Like the decks just build themselves. I think that's the exciting thing about cards like Llanowar Elves being back.
Yeah, I'm not sure about because obviously there's the red green monster stack at the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean that with Llanowar Elves seems. I'm not sure if it's good enough because the mana probably isn't there because we don't have a red green fast land.
Yeah.
The red green fixing is tap lands.
Yeah.
But going like turn 1 Llanowar Elves into like turn 2 something, turn 3. Rekindling Phoenix, turn 4 Glorybringer seems pretty terrifying.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, even like a turn 3 Chandra Torture Defiance, like
oh boy,
that's a card. Like
seems really good.
So things which we're going to be able to do, like obviously not for too long, like as far as like Chandra and Glorybringer are concerned, because they will be obviously rotating out in a few months' time. But I can definitely see green making a big resurgence once we have Dominaria released.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
So, what is your card of the week?
So, my card of the week is also in Dominaria. It's a card that has had, I'd say, a lot of discussion.
Sure.
To put it lightly. So, my card of the week is Damping Sphere.
Ooh.
So,
what does that mean?
It is a 2 mana, 2 generic mana, and that is an artifact. And Damping Sphere says, if a land is tapped for 2 or more mana, it produces 1 colourless instead of any other type and amount. And it also says, each spell a player casts costs 1 mana more to cast for each other spell that player has cast this turn. So
that seems really bad in standard.
Yeah, I can't imagine what decks that would be played against in standard. But every other constructor format, this Absolutely. Is like the card's great. So
yeah.
I play Storm in Legacy, so I play Ad Nauseam Tendrils in Legacy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I 100% can see a lot of decks bringing this into the sideboard.
Yeah, definitely. How do you beat this card?
Yeah, the only way I'm beating this card is if I'm bringing in like Abrupt Decays from my sideboard.
Do you own some Bayous?
Not yet, no. That's it. Like, so I'm not playing 4-colored at the moment, so I'm playing Grixis. But when I first built Storm, I was playing with a Tropical Island in as well, or the Abrupt Decay. But I think if we're going to be seeing a lot of Damping Spheres, which I assume we are, then I'm going to have to get a Bayou or two, I think, to go in there. Sure. And then in Modern, it also completely hoses what was going to be my deck of choice now that Lantern isn't really as good anymore. And that would be Tron.
Yep.
So obviously the Tron lands, they tap for 1 colourless mana by themselves.
Yep.
But if you have all 3 out, and the Tron lands are Urza's Mine, Urza's Power Plant, and Urza's Tower, they each tap for 2 mana for the Mine and the Power Plant. and then the tower taps for 3 mana. And the deck is very, very good at consistently having all 3 lands on turn 3, so then you can just play a 7 mana Planeswalker on turn 3.
Yep, Karn's pretty good.
Yeah, which you can't really do if your opponent has Damping Sphere out, because rather than 7 mana, they just make 3 mana.
So to speak about Tron specifically, what do they have to deal with a card like this?
Again, I think it just solidifies that green-black Tron is probably going to be the best version to play. And you just put Abrupt Decay on your sideboard.
I suppose you have Nature's Claim as well, because you don't particularly care about them gaining life.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, absolutely. But I think the fact that Abrupt Decay can't be countered is the answer to it.
Yeah, sure.
The card also like completely hoses Workshops and Vintage. Like,
that's not a format I'm particularly concerned about.
No,
but I imagine that is relevant.
Yeah, same. It's not a format that I play currently, but like Shops is a difficult one because the deck it's very good. Like Mishra's Workshop is a great card.
Yeah.
They do make sort of changes to Vintage every now and then. Like the last thing we saw was like a restriction of Monastery Mentor, I think.
Yep.
It's essentially the meta was pretty much you play a Mentor deck or you play a Workshops deck. Workshops is that thing with the very fast mana acceleration as well. So Mishra's Workshop taps for 3 mana, 3 colourless mana. But you can only spend that mana on artifacts.
What a terrible restriction.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, when you've got things like Walking Ballista, Hanging Back Walker, probably loads of other really good artifacts.
So it's actually something interesting I've just thought of.
Yeah.
So in Vintage, Wizards are trying to slow down the Shops deck, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
They've restricted cards, but they still haven't restricted Shops because they're really expensive. I think there is a financial consideration.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. So when you get into older formats, you have the reserve list come into play, and again, like Wizards aren't really allowed to acknowledge the secondary market, but at the same time, they do have to sort of adhere to the spirit of the reserve list. So as far as a legal sort of perspective goes.
Yeah. So I think this might be a way to, instead of just, restricting all of Shops cards to one-offs.
Yeah, which arguably significantly devalues the card.
Yeah, like, I think this is a way to answer that without just making the Shops deck unplayable.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. I think it's the perfect answer that... I mean, it's just the perfect answer for it, I think, really. Like, they can't, and I don't think they should, ban the card. They can't really restrict the card. Technically they can, but there would be a significant backlash amongst players.
Definitely.
And I don't know whether it would necessarily affect the price, but just the threat of that being there is sort of enough for them to go, well, although we can consider doing this, it's not something we're going to touch because that's not an area we want to get into.
Yeah.
Instead, hey, why don't we just print a new card that is a bit of a silver bullet to that deck?
Yeah, I mean, and it interacts with, Vintage Storm is a thing.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Discard stops. I mean, it's...
Yeah, even, you're playing, Black Lotus and Mox, it does... I think it's probably going to see quite a lot of play in Vintage, to be honest.
Yeah, it does seem very, very... I mean, you can cast it on turn 1, and I feel like if you cast it on summon in Vintage, your Shops and Storm opponents they have to scoop up, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
There's no way they're beating this card on turn 1.
So, I think that although this card is going to cause a lot of problems for me personally as a player, as far as my deck of choices go, I think that cards like this are absolutely vital for the health of the game.
Sure.
Going back to a discussion last week about Jace the Mind Sculptor, one of my biggest fears with Jace was that we'll see the decks like Tron, the decks like Storm sort of take over Modern because they want to race Jace, they want to get out and they want to finish the game faster than their opponent can resolve a Jace.
Yeah.
Whereas this is a really fair way to stop that from happening. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
So now that card of the week is over, let's look at the rest of the week of Magic. What have you been up to this week as far as Magic goes?
Pretty much nothing.
Okay.
I played FNM, which is where I won my sweet Robbers Big Slam booster.
Yeah. What format was that?
It was Modern.
Hey, what did you play?
So I've been really excited about playing some kind of Jace deck for a while.
Yeah, definitely.
And I spent the week sort of tinkering with a banned company list.
Okay.
I was pretty settled on some kind of devoted druid deck.
Yeah.
Playing Chords, Companies, and Jaces,
yeah.
And it felt pretty sweet. I was goldfishing it quite a bit. It felt really powerful. So then I sort of had to rush to FNM because of work, and it turns out I forgot to pack my Modern deck.
Uh-oh.
So I got there about half an hour before it was meant to start. I was like, oh man, what am I going to do? I really want to play Modern. Didn't have my I had part of my standard deck.
but I had to take that apart for cards for other decks. So I didn't have any sort of proper constructed deck on me. Asking about, like, has anyone got a modern deck? Has anyone got a modern deck? And then my friend John Daniel said, "Here, have some binders. Build whatever you want."
Awesome.
Yeah.
Were they particularly interesting binders, or was it just sort of draft chaff?
Yeah, they're absurd. I do want to give a shout out to John for having the most ridiculous Magic collection of any 20-year-old I've ever met.
Awesome.
So open the folder, like, pretty much can build anything in Modern.
Okay, sweet.
That I want to build. And I thought, oh, you know what? I haven't given Death Shadow a good enough chance.
Yeah.
A Traverse Shadow deck.
Yeah, so it seems good. Like, I think Death Shadow is one of the best decks in Modern at the moment. Like, undeniably, it's great.
Yeah, so I pulled out, pretty much I think I pulled out 73 of the 75 cards I needed. Had to roll like 2, like a Traverse the Unwalled and a Manamorphose or something. Because he had every other card.
Yeah.
Most of which were foil.
Wow.
His collection's ridiculous. So I built up that deck. So 4 colours. So it's base black. Then it's playing some Tarmogoyfs, and the blue is for Stubborn Denial, and the red is for a copy of Temur Battle Rage. And it just felt very, very powerful the entire time I was playing it. So
I do really like that deck a lot. Like, it's not something that I'm playing currently, and it's not really something that I've considered playing, but it's great. It is a very powerful deck.
Yeah, like, I went 2-2.
Yeah, sure.
I lost to Affinity.
Yeah, which just happens. Yeah, it just happens. Like, sometimes they just dump their hand on turn 2, and there's nothing you can do about it.
And I lost to Mono Green Goblin Charbelcher.
In Modern?
Yep.
Amazing.
So it's playing, like, that deck's playing, so it's playing 6 forests and a stomping ground.
Yeah.
You play cards like Lay of the Land, Sakura Tribe Elder, like Traverse the Unwalled, just to literally find basic lands from your deck.
Yeah.
And then activate Goblin Charbelcher, find your mountain, and kill your opponent.
Wow. I assume it's obviously quite similar to the Legacy Belcher deck, but you don't have access to some of the cards in there, like Lion's Eye Diamond and
you don't have any advanced.
Yeah, like Elvish Spirit Guide or
and it's playing Liege of the Tangle.
Okay, well, what does that do?
I'm actually going to look it up.
Yeah,
just so I know the exact wording. Liege of the Tangle. So Liege of the Tangle is 6 and 2 green.
Yeah.
No, this is not the right card.
Uh-oh.
No, what's the card called? It's the one with. It's part of the cycle.
Is it Chancellor of the Tangle?
Chancellor of the Tangle. Of course, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Chancellor of the Tangle is 4 and 3 green.
Yeah.
For a 6/7.
Yeah.
With Vigilance and Reach.
Yeah.
And you may reveal the card from your opening hand. And if you do, at the beginning of your first main phase, add green to your mana pool.
Yeah, seems good.
So that exists so you don't have to have a land in your opening hand.
Yeah.
You get to play less lands in the deck. But turns out if the game goes long enough, your opponent can just cast that, and a 6/7 with Vigilance and Reach is pretty good at stalling the board.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, I do really like that Chancellor cycle. It's pretty interesting. Like, I always thought there's a format at Magic Online called Freeform, which was just like there's no limits as far as deck building goes. Like, you can have any number. You have any number of any card in there, and so obviously the best deck in that format is just 40 copies of Chancellor of the Dross. You reveal all 7 of them from your opening hand and do 21 damage to your opponent before the first upkeep.
That's amazing.
It's great.
It's so good.
So that's it's a bit of a fixed format, that one is, a bit of a solved one.
Just Chancellor of the Dross. That's incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I have an interesting story about my Affinity match, but I guess I'll stay with that for the end step.
Okay,
but that's pretty much the only Magic I've played this week.
Okay.
But I heard that you played a lot more.
So, yeah, I guess the big thing that I was looking forward to this week was Pauper. So there's been a massive resurgence of Pauper's popularity. Like, I think a lot of it has to do with Tolarian Community College. The professor's great. Like, I absolutely love his content. I love his passion. He's one of my favourite content creators, like, hands down. Like, the guy's great.
I think he's the reason I'm so invested in Magic, to be honest.
Yeah, he's up there for me, definitely. He's one of the sort of first sort of like figureheads of the game that really sort of got me interested in more than just the sort of you play the cards sort of side of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously he's been really pushing for Pauper. He did a bit of a thing with Channel Fireball, and they started running Pauper events at their GPs. So we had quite a few of our local players who attended GP London. They did a big Pauper side event there, which I think was actually the biggest Pauper tournament in the world at this point.
Wow.
I think they broke the record for the most number of players registered in a Pauper event.
That's amazing.
Yeah, a lot of them played in that, so they've got decks and they really enjoyed it, and they were like, hey, like, Pauper was great there, does anyone want to do a Pauper event sometime? So got my TO hat on and thought, hey, let's throw something together, people want to play it, let's provide them with an event. So sorted out a Pauper tournament, been doing a bit of promo, and unfortunately I did sort of have it on at the same time as GP Madrid, so some of those players couldn't make it because they were over at the GP.
Okay.
But we managed to get attendance of 18, which I'm fairly happy with for the first time I've run a Pauper event, considering the last time I tried about 2 years ago and nobody turned up.
Oh, man.
So yeah, no, it was good. We had like, I think there were like technically 8 different decks in the top 8, although 2 were quite similar. I managed to come third playing like Mono Blue Delver, which was great. Like, I'm not a big fan of playing Delver decks in Legacy, so I played Grixis Delver for a bit, and like the deck's great, like absolutely fantastic. You can fully understand why it puts up the results it does, but it's just a bit too fair for me, I think. Like,
Sure, okay.
like I think if I'm playing powerful formats like Legacy, I just want to be doing some ridiculous things. Like, you know, I want to combo off in turn 2 and deal 20 damage with tendrils. Like,
I mean, yeah, the constructed decks I know you play are Storm and Legacy, Tron and Lantern. Like,
yeah.
Like Delver's a bit too fair for you.
Yeah, it's that. Like, the deck's great, but it's not for me. Mm-hmm. So I did have slight apprehension about playing it in Pauper. Although it's like, strangely, like, Delver Secrets is quite possibly my favourite Magic card.
Okay.
I haven't played with the card in Modern, and I don't really enjoy playing with it in Legacy, but from pure card design aspect,
it's sweet. It's really
I think it's perfect. I think that's something I'd quite like to talk about in a future episode as well, as far as like, you know, what our favourite cards are and what card designs we like. But
we can just do an hour and a half episode on Delver Secrets.
I could talk for like a week about how Delver is perfect. But yeah, you know, so I played the deck. I think my favourite turn was they were casting just like a lightning bolt on my Delver, like just, you know, something fine like that.
Mm-hmm.
So with 3 mana, I got 3 islands up. I go, alright, I'll brainstorm. Brainstormed into a counterspell and a gush. So I used the other 2 islands to pay for the counterspell to counter the lightning bolt, and then returned those 2 islands to my hand to draw 2 cards of gush.
Oh god, it's so stupid.
It's like, it's ridiculous. Like, yeah, you can just do so many things. And then I had a Daze in my hand as well. That was one of the cards that I drew from the gush, so I could still counter a spell if need be. Like, it does all of the silly things that I kind of want to do in a mono blue Delver deck. So I was very happy playing that deck.
Magic is what Garfield intended.
Absolutely, yeah. I had a lot of fun. Pauper's great. It definitely feels like I've seen it being described as sort of I know a lot of people sort of refer to it as like Legacy Light, and
yeah, absolutely,
it kind of does feel like that in a lot of ways. Maybe like I don't play Vintage, but maybe even Vintage Light as far as like a pure power level comparison goes.
I mean, you get to play 4 copies of Gush, right?
Yeah, you don't get to do that in any other format.
Really stupid.
Yeah, like, so it kind of is like the bulk of the cards, like as far as like most of the creatures and some of the spells go, are really sort of powered down as you would expect from the commons, but then you do get a lot of ridiculous things as well. Like, you get to play 4 copies of Gush. Like, you get Ponder and Preordain, which are both banned in Modern. Like, you just jam 4 copies of those. You get Brainstorm, which is what Jace the Mind Sculptor does in Modern, essentially.
You get access to a lot of absurdly powerful cards.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, not just in blue, but, you know, primarily in blue. I enjoyed it. I had a great time. I'm definitely looking forward to doing it again. We're probably going to start running Pauper as an FNM as well.
Oh, sweet.
So I think it's something that will just sort of snowball, and, you know, maybe we'll see a whole Pauper GP one day.
Oh, hopefully. Like, because I mean, like I've said, it's in absurdly powerful format.
Yeah.
And I currently own 3 Pauper decks.
Yeah.
But while you're casting Brainstorms into counterspells, into Gushes, into Dazes, I'm just resolving Mulgrass Scavengers.
Yeah, sure.
Which green for an 0/4.
Yeah.
If you have Delirium, it gets +3/+0.
Awesome.
Common print of Tarmogoyf.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic. So
it's really good.
One of the players turned up with a blue-red sort of Izzet Blitz deck that they'd brewed themselves a bit.
Sweet.
And one of the best cards in that deck was almost our first pick from last week, Firebrand Archer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was like 4 copies of Firebrand Archer, 4 copies of Thermal Alchemist, and then just a bunch of burn spells and card draw.
That sounds great.
So you could just do silly things. Like, there was at one point I went over and after I finished my game, I was watching that player was still playing one of their games, and they had 2 Firebrand Archers out, 2 Thermal Alchemists, and then from the cards in their hand, they had 19 points of damage. Like, it was just like casting, like, tapping your Thermal Alchemists, casting a Lightning Bolt, triggering the Firebrand Archers, untapping your Thermal Alchemists, tapping them again, brainstorming, casting another Lightning Bolt, like...
That's disgusting.
It was absurd, and I think that's kind of a deck that I might play next time, but it was a lot of fun. I really do like that the format seems to appeal to both sort of casual players and really competitive players.
Yeah,
because you get the cost to buy into the format is very cheap. Like,
it's creeping up a bit.
It is creeping up a bit, but if you compare it to a standard deck even, like...
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, I'm sure, like, Challenger decks will see the price of standard decks coming down, but...
Hopefully.
My complete deck cost me €60 from Magic Card Market.
Yeah, that's really good.
Like, I couldn't buy a standard deck that I would top 3 a tournament with for that price. So, it's great. It appeals to the more casual players because you don't have to spend, £100, £200, £300 on an amazing tier 1 deck.
Yeah.
But then it also really appeals to the competitive players because you get to do things like brainstorming into a counter spell and then drawing 2 cards from Gush. Like,
so sweet.
It's great. So I enjoyed that. But yeah, aside from that, I've been playing Legacy Cube pretty much non-stop.
Yep.
Just back to back in, like, when I can, like, wake up, cube, have a shower, and then I'll draft, like, after I have a shower, and then I'll come back and play the rounds of the draft, like, after I finished work. Like, that's the mindset I'm in. Like, if cube's up, that's when I want to be playing.
That
like,
sounds like a pretty sweet way to live.
Although I do love constructed Magic, I think Cube might be my favourite format of Magic. So much you can do with Cube, and I don't think there's a single Cube I wouldn't want to play. Like, it's great.
I disagree. Legendary Cube.
I'd still rather play Legendary Cube than any other Cube. Like, I would play Mono Green Cube, like, hands down.
Oh yeah, that's fine. But I mean, like, specifically the Legendary Cube on Magic Online.
Yeah, it's the worst cube they've put up on Magic Online, probably. But you got some prize packs out of it, which was cool.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
you don't get from the other cubes. And again, I'd still rather that than no cube.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, I've been having, like, decent amount of success. I think, like, I've managed to run about 12 cubes. Yeah, I've done about 12 leagues so far, and that's from my initial 10 ticks.
Wow, that's really good.
So I've yet to 301, but I've been going 2-1 in every single one. The most impressive one, like, I'm not usually one to sort of, like, blow my own horn as it would be, but I managed to beat one of my favourite Magic players. That is Kenji, or Numat the Nummy.
Kenji Igashiro.
Yeah, that's the one. So just joined a Legacy Cube. My pack 1 was, like, fairly weak. Like, it was something that I wasn't really excited about opening. I can't remember exactly what was in there, but I ended up taking Ancient Tomb being my pack 1 pick 1, which I think is, like, it's fine. Like, probably most decks want to run an Ancient Tomb, but it's nothing exciting. So the deck didn't really go as sort of well as I wanted it to in the draft portion. Ended up being mono red, which like it's mono red is fine. Like, when Vintage Cube's up, like, I'll just jam mono red every other league, because I find it's, as far as Vintage Cube goes, or at least the last sort of incarnation of Vintage Cube, it's been very easy just to 3-0 going mono red.
Yep.
So you mono red, go 3-0, build up your play points, and then jump into another queue and draft whatever you want. So yeah, I ended up in mono red at this Legacy Cube this time. Won the first round, like, fairly easily. I think my opponent was just on some, like, blue white, like, fair stuff. Like, it was a bit of a control deck, but it was nothing broken, so I just completely outraced them. Yep. So, that was fine. That was expected. And then round 2, I get paired and I see, Numat the Nummy. That's a name I recognise. So
whenever you messaging me about being paired against him.
Yeah. So I've played against Kenji on stream once. Yeah, so I played against Kenji once before while he was streaming. It was back in, I think it was Oath of the Gatewatch had just come out. We were doing an Oath of the Gatewatch draft.
Okay.
I remember wondering if he was streaming at the time, so I totally ghosted his stream and, like, opened it up another window. Yeah, so I was watching him play while playing against him, and he absolutely destroyed me 2-0.
Yep.
While he was double queuing. So it wasn't great, but I was very excited obviously to play against him back then, and I assumed exactly the same thing was just going to happen this time. Like, here's Kenji, yeah, I'm going to get destroyed. But we had a really good game one. Like, I was fairly certain he was going to stabilise on 1 life and then just totally swing the game back, which he almost did. But again, it was a lucky sort of top decker burn spell. He didn't have an answer. Amazing. Get the job done. And then round 2, I'm like, oh, game 2, getting excited. I just beat him. Bit of an advantage there. He's a very good Magic player though, so...
Absolutely. A limited expert as well.
Yeah, like I was fully expecting just to go 1-2 there.
Mm-hmm.
So game 2 begins. He plays a forest, passes to me. I play a mountain. I play a goblin guide. I get in for 2, pass the turn. He doesn't play anything and passes the turn. And I'm like, oh no, is he stuck on land? So I play a mountain, and then I think I hit him with a goblin guide again, and then just like a lightning bolt or something. So like, okay, pass it to him. He plays a land and then passes and doesn't play anything. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, he's only got 2 forests, hasn't played anything. Maybe I'll get there. I mean, he's probably just gonna like slam a bunch of creatures next turn and then that's it. He's gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a Stormkirk Noble that I played. Passed the turn. And then it's his turn 4. He plays a Fertile Ground. Yeah, he plays a Fertile Ground on his forest.
The enchantment
he adds mana when you tap that land.
Mm-hmm.
So he plays that and then passes the turn. So I'm like, oh, he's completely stuck on land. I top deck an Avalanche Riders. Blow up his land with the Fertile Ground on, and he concedes on the spot. Beat Kenji 2-0.
That's so good.
I feel like I've told that story in a really bad way, but I was so excited. It was great.
So, because I got a message from you. You sent me a message which is just you taking a photo of the Modo screen.
Yeah.
It's a really blurry photo, but you can just see Numot and just the F word underneath. And then about 10 minutes later, it's a screenshot of saying Joe Loudon wins the match, and then just the F word again.
Yeah.
Just 2-0 Kenji.
Pretty much describes my feelings at the time. Like, went into
I just found it really funny when you sent me that.
Yeah. Went into the round thinking, oh, I'm going to get absolutely obliterated, and then the complete opposite happened. So yeah, shout out to Kenji, because that was great fun. Maybe we'll meet each other again in the Cube Leagues, and we'll see if we can find out who is the better Cube player, given that we're 1-1 currently.
I think you might want to get revenge for Avalanche Riders, one of your only forests for the first hard round.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And really, there's no doubt that Kenji is a way better limited player and a way better Magic player than I am, but I'm happy with that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's what I've done in Magic this week. Shall we move on to What the Deck?
Yeah, I've got a good one.
Cool. So first of all, I think I'd like to sort of preface this a bit. So, thank you to everybody who did listen to last week's episode. I'm like totally mind-blowing that so many people sort of listened to it, and I've had some really good feedback from it. And one of the things that I got feedback for was What the Deck. I know a couple of people I've spoken to, they really enjoyed the segment, but one or two sort of thought that they didn't quite get it. They thought, like, are we just pulling up like a list that we've seen and are we being a bit mean to it, or so I kind of want to preface it by saying, like, What the Deck isn't meant to be like mean-spirited at all. Like, we're absolutely like 100% approve of like people brewing decks, and it's more of sort of a case of like, at least I hope it's a case of sort of laughing with the deck rather than at the deck.
Yeah, absolutely, because I mean it's just sort of, we go into modern less so at the moment, but we go into these formats thinking, these are the established archetypes.
Yeah, absolutely.
We see some innovation, but we want it like we know sort of what the deck's going to be like, and then we find something like the mono black deck from last week, which is like, what is this person doing?
Yeah, exactly.
These are cards that don't get played, that maybe people think shouldn't get played, but this person's doing it and doing well, and that was sort of what I wanted to highlight.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I can totally understand why somebody might think that it is a little mean-spirited, but I really don't want it to sort of come across that way at all. Like, full on, like, the majority of the people playing these decks are really good Magic players, like, far better than ourselves, and a lot of them seem like very strange decks to look at, but are probably just brilliant meta calls.
Yeah, I mean, that is true of this week's one.
Yeah, so what have you got for me this week? It
came 5th place at the Magic Online World Championships.
Yeah, the Mox was there last weekend.
Yeah, it's. I mean, maybe we'll just briefly mention what happened at the Mox after this.
Yeah, I think that's something that given a little bit of our talk last week, we probably do need to highlight the winner of the mocks.
Oh yeah. But before that, fifth place deck was Band Control.
Yep.
By
Guillaume Matignon.
Guillaume.
I think Guillaume. It's a difficult name to pronounce, so I apologise if we are getting wrong. I
apologise to Guillaume.
Yeah, I mean, you're never gonna hear this probably, but. Fully, just in case. I think Guillaume's an absolutely fantastic Magic player. One of my favorite players currently. He played some sort of very interesting decks during the past couple of Pro Tours he's been on.
Yeah, this deck is nuts.
Cool. So do you want to run through the deck?
Yeah. So it is 4 Sakura Tribe Elders.
Yep. So it's some sort of like Valakut build, yeah.
No, 2 Snapcaster Mages. Okay, it could be Team of Valakut.
Yeah, sure.
2 Corsair Kruphix. 2 Nissa Vastwood Seer.
Okay.
1 Emrakul the Promised End.
Now we're talking.
The 13 mana one.
Yep.
4 Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Yep.
4 Path. 4 Serum Visions. 2 Explores.
Okay.
2 Romans.
Yep.
1 Bant Charm, which is a pet card of mine.
Yeah, in the main board. Cool.
Yeah. 1 Sphinx's Revelation.
Yeah,
3
great card.
Commands.
Yeah.
1 Supreme Verdict and 1 Wrath of God.
Yeah.
3 Time Warps.
Oh, okay, sweet.
A Search for Azcanta.
Yeah, great card.
The lands aren't particularly interesting. It's playing a single Celestial Colonnade.
Yeah.
2 Field of Ruins.
Yeah.
2 Flooded Groves. I think are the interesting lands there.
Yeah, playing the lands. They're getting a reprint in Masters 25.
They are, so hopefully they'll be cheaper soon.
Yeah.
And a Prairie Stream, one of the Alpha Zendikar. What was that cycle called? Just the Battle Lands?
Battle Lands, Tango Lands,
Sure, Tango Lands, that was my favourite one.
Yeah, I like Tango Lands, because it takes 2 to tango.
Oh no, I like Santa Lands.
Oh, I don't think I heard that one.
Because you're checking it twice.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
I enjoyed it at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, this deck is just it's sort of like a blue-white control shell.
Yeah, for sure.
Playing Cryptics, Paths,
Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Yeah, just all this sweet stuff. And then you're playing like Sakura Tribe Elder and Corsair Kruphix, because the Corsair Kruphix Jace the Mind Sculptor interaction is value.
Yeah, definitely.
And it just seems such a weird list that like I haven't seen this kind of thing before, because I've been looking for Bant decks.
Yeah.
It's a colour combination I really like. I want to play green creatures and Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Yeah, for sure.
But this seems so strange to me.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the sideboard as well. There's there's 12 different cards in the sideboard.
Yeah, like Porphyry Nodes?
Oh, Porphyry Nodes is great. So Porphyry Nodes I know basically from Legacy as a budget drop of honey.
Okay.
Because it doesn't cost $400. And it does the same thing, but in white.
Seems great.
Yeah.
Yeah, this deck is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it came 5th, and I feel like so this is, I think I heard him talk about it and saying that Sakura Tribe Elder is just great in a blue-white control deck.
Yeah.
And it seems like a great call for the mocks, because Jund was everywhere.
Yeah.
How many lists do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 copies of Jund in a 23-person tournament?
Yeah, it's taking up a vast majority of the field there, definitely.
Yeah.
And you see, the most popular card in that tournament was Lightning Bolt, by a considerable amount, played in
that,
74% of decks, and then the second most popular was Bloodbraid Elf, played in 40% of decks. So,
but I mean that whole top cards thing. If you go MTG Goldfish,
the
all 10 top cards are Jund.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
Bolt, Bloodbraid, Goyf, Lily, Inquisition, Thoughtseize, Bob, Colligan's Command, Brutality, Full Damage.
I think that's the thing as well. Corsair Kruphix seems great in a field where 75% of the cards are Lightning Bolt, because it doesn't die to Lightning Bolt.
Yeah.
It's a 2/4.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Sakura Tribe Elder, just you get a block in on the Bloodbraid Elf, and you get to ramp yourself.
Yeah.
And then he's doing this nonsense where you're casting Time Warps.
Yeah, Time Warp's a card that I've played with a lot this week in Legacy Cube.
Yeah, it's sweet.
It's like Time Walk, but more expensive.
Yeah, it's bad. It's powerless, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I just thought this deck was really sweet. I mean, I don't know what the Emrakul's in here for.
I guess the Emrakul is the win con, maybe. If you're expecting a lot of Jund, you're thinking I'm gonna Mindslaver you and then bolt you,
Sure.
I'm not sure exactly whether it's just sort of a value deck getting the beatdowns in where it can.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess...
Or is it just, protect Jace and then Jace Ultimate?
I mean, yeah, probably. I mean, it seems like you go... I mean, if you get to the super late game and you go Emrakul into Time Warp, I feel like you just straight up win that game immediately.
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah.
It seems really sweet.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
That's my what the deck for this week.
Okay, so...
quite as ridiculous as last week.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think it is one of those like unusual decks. Like if you look at the rest of the field, where it's Jund, it's Mardu Pyromancer, it's Zoo, it's Blue-Red Control.
Yeah, it's all these decks we've pretty much seen before, or iterations of. But the winner of the tournament.
Yeah, the winner of this tournament. So I didn't actually watch a lot of the mocks, but I watched the whole of the final for two reasons. One, because I'm a big fan of Steve Rubin. I think Steve Rubin's a really good Magic player.
Yeah, definitely.
So I do like to watch a lot of his games. He was on Jund, obviously a very popular choice, seemed like a good meta call. Yep. And then his opponent, Dmitry Budakov, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Probably I'm not. Apologies, Dmitry.
I think that's right. That sounds about right.
Was playing what is listed as green-white hexproof, but it's Boggles.
Boggles.
Yeah, Boggles won the mocks.
I think you have some apologising to do after last week.
Yeah, absolutely. Last week I kind of jokingly went, hey, maybe Boggles is just the meta call and it's Boggle time, but maybe it is actually Boggle time. Like
it's Slippery Boggles world and we're all just living in it.
100%. Fair enough. The meta game of the mocks is going to be very different to the meta game of a GP.
Yeah.
But I think I've been thinking about it a lot this week since it won, and been doing a lot more sort of research into Modern in general, really.
Sure.
And I think I'm probably just gonna make a formal apology to Boggles and all the Boggles players out there and say, hey, your deck is real.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
maybe I'd take it to a GP.
I absolutely wouldn't.
I'm not
playing.
I would play London for 15 rounds of a GP, so.
That's your call. I'm not playing, I don't want to play linear nonsense for 50 rounds in a row.
Yeah.
But, so I'm not sure this is this is the best deck in the format. We have to all be worried about Boggles. But
no, of course not.
I think, it's a real deck. It's the sort of deck where, you know someone who plays it, the Boggles player at your LGS or whatever.
Yeah, there's always one.
Yeah. And it is a respectable deck. You have to respect it, I think, at the moment. I don't think you need to devote too many sideboard slots to it, or worry, oh man, what's my Boggle matchup like?
Yeah, for sure.
But for this 23-person tournament, where there are 7 Jund decks, I think this was an outstanding choice.
Yeah, especially even if you do think about the sort of bigger modern metagame as a whole, and that issue that I was talking about of Jace the Mind Sculptor, my worry being that we see a lot of faster decks, a lot of Storm, a lot of Tron.
Yeah.
It plays 4 copies of Lane Sanctity main board, so how does Storm beat that? All the creatures are hexproof. Obviously you have things like All Is Dust in your sideboard, and I guess Wormcoil Engine, and for sure there are ways to beat it, but it might not be too bad against Tron. But then also the other thing as well, it can't be targeted by Jace the Mind Sculptor, you can't Lightning Bolt it. Yeah,
most of the cards in the Jund deck, because of the 4 copies of Lane of Sanctity, which I'm pretty sure is stock at this point since it won.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Toronto?
Just from the amount of Storm that's going around as well, it's probably right just to play 4 Lane Line.
Yeah, and in this meta specifically where there's so much Jund, just their Thoughtseizing Inquisitions do nothing, their Bolts do nothing.
Yeah.
It's sweet, and I'm glad you finally apologised.
But yeah, I'm not going to rush out and buy the pieces that I'm missing to build the deck, but a bit of thinking about it, and I certainly do respect the deck a lot more than I did last week. I'll give it that.
I think that's all we can ask for.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I think it's that time. Do you have an end step story for this week?
I do. So it comes from the F&M where I played 4-color Traverse Shadow.
Okay.
So it's against my Affinity opponent, who has, I believe, crushed me game 1.
Yeah, it just happens.
It does. They just have to draw it. Game 2, we're sort of trading resources. They have quite a slow start.
Yeah.
And it just gets to a point where my opponent's on 12 and I'm on 9, and I have a Death Shadow in play.
Yeah.
And they have a single Signal Pest.
Okay.
So I cast Dismember, paying the full 4 life, targeting their Signal Pest.
Sure.
They go to pick it up and put it in the graveyard, and I go, well, on the stack.
Yep.
Cast this other Dismember, targeting the same Signal Pest.
Okay, yeah.
And
just to be sure.
Full 4 life.
Yeah.
Go to 1.
Yeah.
My Death Shadow's a 12/12.
Yeah.
Attack you for 12.
Sweet.
It just felt sweet.
Sweet. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Death Shadow is it's one of those decks that like sometimes it just gets there very easily like that. Like
yeah, I've seen. It's not a deck I'd really considered playing before.
Yeah, for sure.
But I just thought, I'll pick it up because it sounds like something fun to play, and it just feels so inherently powerful and like.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a deck that I do respect quite a lot. Like.
Yeah.
Again, it feels like that the card itself, Death Shadow, it's one of those cards that, like some of the other decks and the other cards that I like it's just screaming to be broken.
Mm-hmm.
And while I don't necessarily think that Death Shadow is broken, it's certainly very powerful.
Absolutely, and I mean, just double dismember your 0/1, go to 1 life, hit you for exactly lethal. Feels
yeah,
feels
yeah,
good. Feels
definitely.
Good.
Yeah, I've seen people do things like thought season themselves, and
yeah,
I'm just gonna like bolt myself. Yeah, there's so many interesting interactions that you only get in that deck that you wouldn't sort of ever really consider playing any other deck.
Yeah, I think I've seen a game before where someone's playing a Death Shadow, and I can't remember the exact specifics of it, but there's a point at which you cast a lightning bolt and it doesn't matter who it targets because of the Death Shadow.
Yeah.
So the Death Shadow is 3 points off killing the opponent, and then go cast a bolt. It doesn't matter if I target myself or you.
Yeah. Wow. Great.
Sweet. Did you have anything else sort of about the end step, or was that mainly your Kenji story that you got some
I can't top my Kenji story, to be honest, so I'm going to kind of cheat a bit and say, hey, that's my 2-for-1 myself, that's my end step story this week.
Sure.
So yeah, I guess that's it. Once again, we approach the second hour. The God Pharaoh has returned, so it's time to say goodbye for another week of Hour of Devastation.